Hi, welcome to Mining Indaba 2023. This is Julian DeRosier from the IIF. I am joined by Daniel. Daniel, thank you very much for being with us. How are you doing today?
We're doing really well. It's a very busy Indaba.
Well, this is the second Indaba after the COVID. It's great, everything is settled down, but commodities are in demand everywhere. So first of all, maybe you want to introduce yourself and the companies you're working for.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Major. I'm the CEO of GoviEx Uranium. We're an African-focused uranium development company. Two primary assets are a mine-permitted project in Niger, feasibility study completed last year, currently working on the financing structure for that. Then we have the Matanga project down in Zambia, where we're currently focused on completing its feasibility study.
When I hear uranium, the first question that comes to mind, even before talking about the deposits and the feasibility results, how's the market? Everyone after Fukushima thought it was extinct, it would be done. If you're at feasibility level, if you're having a uranium mining company, I guess it's not extinct yet.
There is a reason that nuclear was so successful between the 1950s through. It is a primary source of clean energy. And while the market overreacted as a result of Fukushima, and what the industry did was basically take on the messaging from there, looked at the challenges that were out there. We had a lot of redesigns, re-engineering going through. But at the end of the day, nuclear fulfills one task. It is a massive baseload generator of clean energy. In addition to that, what we're now seeing is the nuclear industry is realizing that it produces a lot of energy that isn't being used to create electricity. So it's now putting its mind to doing that. So things like hydrogen generation, desalination of water, centralized heating, using heating for chemical processing, all new areas. So it's got a brand new base, and the development of small modular reactors means now you can fit it in where coal-fired power stations were.
This is all good news, and it all sounds very good. It seems that it could be a technology that is as a core of being able to, as we would call it, commodities, have like byproducts. So first of energy, but then also having a second line of service, I would say. Are there many reactors right now in orders? What's your market looking?
Look, at the moment, last year's forecast for WNA was about 2.6% annum growth out there. The Chinese are where it's really happening. So put them into context to start with. They were 57 gigawatts of power last year, looking at 70 gigawatts by 2025, 140 gigawatts by 2040. That's the sense of scale. You've looked at the Americans now, who were in decline but have now extended the life of the majority of their reactors. So reactors that you were expecting to close now have 20 or 30 years additional life. You look at France, that was expecting to scale down from 75% of its power to 50%, is now back to 75% and looking to build 14 new reactors. Japan, that was looking at closing all of its reactors, has come out and has seen a massive swing on public perception. So 3 or 4 years ago, public perception was very against nuclear. The last rating came through, 70% of the population are pro-nuclear, and they're looking at putting at least 20 of their reactors up and running based on the 9 they've already got going.
So basically, in all regions, governments are realizing that it's a clean energy, clean way to produce energy. It has a lot of advantages, and then this is where GoviEx comes in. You guys are near production, feasibility study done. Can you tell us more about your most advanced project? And then the second one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing we just point out is we have a massive supply deficit in the market.
Yes.
So 190 million pounds consumed, about 130 million pounds actually mined. The market's being filled by alternatives, but those alternatives are being squeezed down or consumed up. So this is exactly. GoviEx is in a position where majority of the utilities are looking for a supply from 2025 onwards, have order books that need to be filled. GoviEx is fully permitted in Niger. It's targeting to start commercial production beginning of 2026, end of 2025 on its first project. The second project will come in a couple of years after that. So we've done the feasibility study, now trying to secure the funding for it.
Okay, and regarding funding, usually that means MOUs, it means anything that regards securing your production, selling it. Forecast, do you have any news on this side?
Let's put it this way, we put out a press release at the beginning of the year. Once the feasibility study was out of the way, we put out a teaser to potential lenders. We're starting with the lending side because it's the more difficult, more complex part of it because of the due diligence that they have to do. And you've got to recognize Niger is unconventional for most of them. Very few people have financed into Niger, and very few people have been financing uranium projects. So very satisfied when we got 20 different groups come in and say, we want to go to the next stage with you. I'm at Indaba to basically meet with a large portion of those, and the feedback's been very positive. We're trying to turn them now into letters of interest. At the same time, myself and my uranium sales guy have been working with the utilities, educating them on what we do, explaining, and underlying their risk, because they appreciate they're going to be buying from somebody new. We're trying to explain to them how we operate so they can understand that we are a management team that can deliver, that therefore we're now at the stage where we're looking for those offtakes from them, and we keep them in line with where the debt is. So they understand that if they commit to an offtake, there's money that's going to pay for the mine to be built.
Exactly. What's the political state there? Is it troubled state? Is it stable in the region you are? There's a lot of investors that do not know about it, think that all Africa is the same, which is what we do in thinking all Canada is the same, all EU is the same. So tell us the specificities in that regard.
We've been in Niger since 2007. Never lost a day's operation. Irana have been there since 1971, have never missed a shipment of uranium out of there. Niger has issues on its borders, but there are no issues inside of Niger at all. It's well skilled. They've been operating uranium mines for 50 years. You can get the skill sets. The people are very friendly, even for someone like me who have very, very bad French. It's a great country. I mean, you've got a mining code that's designed to man uranium, a government that understands uranium mining, a consistent export route that's been going since the 70s. I mean, you couldn't wish for better.
Well, this is great and securing for a lot of people out there for sure. Maybe for future investors or current investors, talk to us about your share structure a bit, how much cash you have on hands, the basics.
The basics. We got about 600 million shares on issue. We're looking for about 12% of holding by insiders in the company. And we've got Denison Mines sitting with about 3.5%. Of the remaining, it's about 50% in funds and ETFs. The rest is with retail. We raised 10 million Canadian at the end of last year.
Perfect. And to following you, where are you primarily traded?
We're traded on the TSXV under GXU, got my codes right, and then we're on the OTCQB under GVXXF, and we trade about 50% either of those, so we're very well traded.
Perfect. So if anyone wants to follow the story, we invite you to find them with their website. Well, Daniel, that was a very interesting conversation. I think mining in Africa is booming without a doubt. You just heard from him, uranium is also a booming sector with scarcity in supply, like most commodities right now. We need more mine. Those mines need, however, to be mine and investment decision ready, and your project is.
Exactly right. We're ready for the now, because the now is happening.
Perfect. Daniel, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to continue
Cheers.
following your story.